Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to have a look at some fake patina I put onto Harley Davidson petrol tank. Warning, this video contains fake patina. If you find fake patina offensive, best you turn around right here and now. No Harley Davidsons were injured or killed during the making of this film. It's just paint. No need to get head up about it. Well, love it or hate it, fake patina is a thing. Some people really hate it with a passion and just really believe it should never be done. Some people really like it. Myself, I like it if it's done well. Not saying I'm the expert at it. There are plenty of people who are way better at it than me. But anyway, the background of this story is mate Hoppy down in Wellington. I've done a few wood saws for him in the past, which you will see some more of if you subscribe to this channel. In the not too distant future, you will see some more of that. And he hit me up a couple of years ago and asked me if I'd paint the bike tank on his 48 Sportster 48. I'm not sure what the correct title is for them, but anyway, they're shiny little thing like this, little motorbike. But anyway, he wanted his bike tank painted and give it a kind of more of a vintage, kind of like World War II kind of bobber, I don't know, kind of feel. Like he added a bit of sort of fatigue and patina and stuff to the actual tank. Never actually did the guards on this bike though, but he sold it before we got that far. But anyway, so he sent me up the tank and it had gloss black, and it had some numbers on the side, 40, 46 or something like that written on the side, and had some SoCal graphics and a coupe devil and stuff like under the clear. And I'm not sure if it's factory clear or not, but it was pretty thick, and you could still feel the other graphics under the clear. So start off with just got straight into it with some, I think it was probably about 400 wet and dry, and rubbed it right back wet, and gave the whole tank a good key to stick to. Ordinarily, if I was doing a full like fancy gloss repaint on a bike tank, not that I do lots of them, I've done a handful over the years. On a Harley, especially a late model Harley, I would strip it, all the factory stuff off to bare metal, because the clear on it is like it's about 5mm thick. It's pretty thick, and that's like 11/7/8 and a half in American measurements. But anyway, it's really thick, and I've had problems with it coming off in sheets when you're trying to mask over the top of it and things like that. It's a bit of a pain, so it's better I find better to take it right off. But in this case I didn't, because the tank was actually in really good order, no chips or scratches or anything like that. So basically just sort of flushed out the old graphics underneath and then keyed up the rest of the tank. Hit it with some black lacquer, 1K, old school, yeah boy, and with a bit of flattening base in it, just to take the gloss off it as my base for what we were going to do with the rusty texture and stuff like that. And then got into it with a few other colours, reds, browns, oranges, more black, to give that kind of a little bit of yellow to it. I think flick through it, use a variety of tools, from airbrushes to acid brushes to flicking it with my fingers and shit. Messy, really messy work, get covered in it. Anyway, done all that. I thought it'd come up quite cool. Have a quick look in the pictures there. And then once that was laid down, I thought I would just, sounds really weird putting clear over patina, fake patina, to protect it from the elements and rubbing off and things like that. But that's what I did anyway. So I got some 1K clear again, chucked a bit of flattening base in it, so it would go off flat like a satin. Squirted a few coats of that over, got really impatient. Day was a bit cooler than I was anticipating, and I kind of recoated it too soon. But in a weird way it was a kind of a happy accident, and ended up having all the paint, like in places it started crazy cracking, which I don't know if you've ever seen that before. It's like when you kind of get a crocodile skin kind of effect on the paint, and what causes it is you laying down paint and then recoating it too soon, and the first layers haven't dried enough or properly, that the top layers end up drying faster than the wetter stuff still underneath, so it kind of pulls away and shrinks back and cracks, and it creates this cracked, aged kind of effect. I wasn't intending on doing that, but it actually worked out really well, I thought, but it was probably a bit much of it for my liking. So once I left it for the tank for a few days, let it really go off, harden up a bit, and then I hit into it again with some 400 wet, possibly 600 at that point, might have rubbed down some 600, and took some of that crazy cracking back out, because obviously I had enough clear on there now that I could rub into it without really rubbing into the paint effects for all the rusty runoffs and burn off sort of effects. So got into it, rubbed it back, flattened it off, so there were some areas that had kind of a nice kind of semi-gloss flat finish, and there were some parts that were quite cracked and whatnot, and I rubbed a lot of the cracking and stuff off above the rusty stuff, because you wouldn't have cracked paint where there is technically no paint. That was my thinking anyway. Once we've done all that, gave it one more kind of light kind of coat of flattened clear, just to smooth that out and flow it out a little bit more, and even it out, and then hit into the painted on graphics that Hoppy wanted me to put on the tank for him, which was, as you'll see in the pictures, it's like that old kind of vintage World War II bomb kind of thing, where they the old bomber crews and that would quite often paint, messages and faces and stuff on the bombs they were dropping. Sometimes they would paint the mouth and eyes and things onto the planes they were flying. Apparently I wasn't there, not that old. And anyway, so we did that. He also wanted some, kind of old school sort of pinstriping and that on there, and kind of like a kill count numbers, like sort of down lines and then across through, 5 lines and across through type of thing that you, some of the, again, apparently the pilots would quite often paint on the side of their bombers or fighter planes and stuff like that during World War I and World War II, and possibly still now, I don't know. So we painted some of those on either side, the shark mouth and eye, and then painted them on quite thin, some of it quite thin, some of it normal thickness of my, thickness of the paint sort of thing, and then got in there, and once that had sort of dried off for about a day, I didn't let it go off too hard. It was just with normal one-shot enamel lettering paint, I think. It might have been one shot, or it might have been just normal enamel, I can't remember now. And then got in there with some Scotch-Brite and just sort of like took the thinner parts of it out, just sort of rubbed it out a little bit to kind of create that sort of knee wear, and kind of like, jacket or bag wear sort of thing that might be rubbing on the tank over a period of time of normal use. If something was painted 30, 40, 50 years ago sort of thing, and it was still used for a long time, hopefully you'd see those kind of wear patterns that sort of tried to emulate and rubbing off some of the paint. And then that was about it, really. So I sent the tank back down to Hop, and he was really happy with it, and then he sold that bike and bought a big one. So if you like this video, this is probably a pretty shit little video, but anyway, if you want to see some more stuff like that, I've got a few other historical kind of little projects that I've collected photos for, and I'll put into, I don't know, some little galleries. I might combine them so they're not heaps of little slideshows and stuff, but which they probably will be. But anyway, if you want to if you want to see some more videos on some of my sort of custom paint artwork, stuff like that, again, like I say, not an expert, a bit of a hobbyist more than anything. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, Like, share, comment, and till then, see you next time. Peace.